Not quite 1/4, and never just half, but the entirety of one primate, whole. It is the part of a story, an idea that means more to you than me. Hello and welcome to Full Gorilla Life. We are Jeremy Keene,
Larry Medina, and Corey Hewlings.
Each week, we will break down an important life concept or talk with an inspiring person so that you can live your full gorilla life.
All right, we'd like to welcome you back onto the podcast. Today on the podcast, we have Adam Ogilvie, owner of Orc Services Restoration and Construction. And before we really get to know Adam and what he does, etc., we're going to run you through the Gorilla Gauntlet. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, Adam, you married or single?
Married.
Any children?
2.
How old are they?
5 and 8.
Okay. Just got into school, huh?
Oh, yeah.
City you live in?
Sebastian, Florida.
iPhone or Android?
Android.
Have you always been Android?
Yep.
Never gone?
Now, you're kind of a techie, though, right?
Yeah.
And kind of, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of a techie. Not too bad. But I picked up an iPhone before and put it right back down. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's judgmental right there. Y'all didn't catch that.
Yeah. But by the way, he's giving us a judgment eye.
Yeah, as I'm reading this list off my iPhone. Favorite movie or book?
Oh, man. Well, I watched the movie Ford versus Ferrari last night. It was pretty good. But I watch movies all the time, and I like Good Will Hunting is a good one. It's a great movie. Or I like the sports ones. Or Rudy, it's pretty good.
All right,
Yeah.
which one's better? Now,
Where's he going with this?
Good Will Hunting or Shawshank Redemption? Wasn't that the question?
sure, let's go with that.
No, I thought that was on our thread the other day.
Well, the other, for whatever reason, Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yes.
Yeah, Run, Forrest.
Well, all right,
So which one's better, Forrest Gump? We were just on a text thread the other day talking about this. Forrest Gump or Good Will Hunting?
We can't need a tiebreaker, Adam.
That's tough.
Well, I just said Good Will Hunting, so.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But Forrest Gump's pretty good too. There's a lot of good parts of that. Forrest Gump, it's great is because it kind of shows you don't have to be the smartest person to be successful.
Agreed.
Amen to that.
Versus the other guy that's the smartest guy and he's not successful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. This is it.
And that's always my argument towards Forrest Gump.
Okay.
But are you...
Larry's just trying to point his
Corey,
direction back to
which
Forrest
way are
Gump.
you? You're
Honestly, I'm Forrest Gump. I love Good Will Hunting,
okay.
but
Yeah, it's a great
I'm Forrest
movie.
Gump.
They're
But-
both phenomenal, but Forrest
I was
Gump,
trying
feel,
to
the
draw-
historical piece.
This was my argument to the whole thing. I was trying to draw a parallel between Forrest Gump and Joe Dirt, but nobody else saw it.
No, that's not.
I don't.
You're on your own on that
Yep.
one.
I was on an island.
You're about to say you're on an island.
I was on an island.
By the way, Adam just gave you a look of iPhone user.
yeah.
I get it.
And Joe Dirt. Yeah.
And now you know why our
We see
Gorilla
it.
Gauntlet is not rapid fire.
Favorite genre of music?
Oh man, I like alternative rock.
Okay. What bands?
So I like
Old or new?
it fluctuates. So got me on the spot here, but
Like Breaking Benjamin type stuff or
Pearl Jam.
it's kind of like a Pearl Jam, maybe a little bit more punk sometimes.
Okay.
It's just kind of it depends on what I'm trying to get done too. If I'm trying to stay like ultra focused or something, I'm listening to like Mozart or something at the desk trying to get paperwork done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Calming.
I can't do that.
Yeah. I
Helps.
like if I'm writing something,
Really?
if I'm writing something out, I go straight musical. But a lot of times it's like something like Grammatic, where it's kind of like hip hop ish, but beats, only beats.
Really?
Right.
Yeah,
Because you're wanting to spit those words down on paper.
yeah.
I
I'm
got
ready.
you.
I'm ready to throw them bars down.
I guess because I'm usually like working with my hands or something. Like I was redoing that trailer today. I need music, like music.
Yeah, I can
I
see
need
that
to
too.
hear
Yeah.
stuff, But
can
I'm
see
not
that.
really. I know what I'm doing. I guess.
Yeah, see, I don't.
No, yeah. No, I'm not trying to think of words or anything. I guess.
I got you.
Reservation or just walk in?
Oh, definitely walk in.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Favorite type of food?
So there's an ongoing joke.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Every
know this.
episode.
Okay.
Yes.
All
Th-
right.
There's two of us that are walk in and one
Wait,
guy
I have a
that
wait.
is-
So we're gonna make okay. Who made the last reservation in the room?
Jeremy.
That's not true, Corey. Corey called because there's
listen,
14 of us.
I didn't even
You would make a
RS
reservation for
I
14.
didn't
Oh yeah, definitely.
By the way, do you feel that passion?
Unless
Yes.
you just know it's like
Listen.
a slow restaurant.
I didn't even RSVP for the wedding we just went to. All right, that's how walk-in I am.
I called in an hour ahead for this Chick-fil-A.
Favorite type of food?
It's just American type of food: burgers and fries and wings and beer. You know?
Okay.
All right. So who has the best burgers around town?
Oh, the best burger.
I have a spot.
You have a spot?
Yeah, but let us.
You know,
Where's it at?
I mean, I like making my own burger at home. So
Okay.
It's kind of.
Salt pepper guy or
You know, I'd usually take like steak seasoning and put it on top of my
Montreal?
patties and- yeah, Montreal
Yeah,
on
that's
top
good.
of it. Yeah.
You guys heard it.
And-
The Ogilvie House has the best burger in town.
yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna go.
They even have like like patty.
Full grill of
Hamburger.
foodie coming your way.
There you go.
Where did we just go? They had,
Post and Vine has a good burger.
yeah, they're really close with Icon, but I think Post and Vine was better. What kind of car do you drive?
So I have a Chevy Silverado
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
pickup truck.
Yeah. Beer, whiskey, or wine?
Wow, and, you know, it all ends up at the same place. So let's see here. Most of the time, beer. You know, it's like if you're trying to cut back on your diet or something, you go straight for the hard stuff. So
Yeah, you go straight to bourbon.
go right
Yeah.
to bourbon, but an occasional glass of wine doesn't hurt. So I'm guessing more of a beer guy.
Okay. All right.
Any specific type?
You know, it's just, you know, if I go to an Italian restaurant, maybe I'll order a Peroni or something, or if I'm, everything fluctuates with me. I'm
Okay.
kind of a random kind of guy.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
can appreciate that. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Sometimes I'll order a porter, because I feel like I want a dark beer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's rare for me. Has to be draft if it's
Yeah,
a dark beer. If
draft.
it's not draft, I don't want it for some reason. I can't get around it. But
It's understandable.
yeah.
All right. So you got your own business.
yeah,
Somebody just give that to you, or did you have to start it?
yeah. So no one gave it to me.
Yeah. Nobody just handed it over.
Here
to
you go, Adam.
Yeah,
Here's the
yeah.
keys.
Right. Yeah. There's very little handouts going on
Yeah.
here. So I wish it was the case. I wish I picked up a lottery ticket and just won $1 million or something, which is not a lot of money nowadays. But but no, I started it. Right from I picked up found a desk on the side of the road one day somebody was throwing away and slapped it next to my bed and
Okay.
worked from my bedroom on a desk. So when I rolled out of bed, I rolled into my desk chair, and that's where I worked.
Okay.
So is that a true story? Like,
Yeah.
Okay. So, you obviously you started. So at that time you already had the business Orc, or was it a different business? Because I know you've had a couple, right?
Yeah, I've had a couple businesses. A lot of all of them failed except for Orc. The timing of finding the desk was right around the time where I was trying to create the new business plan. I've had other businesses with other business plans that failed, and I took a big break from it and said I'm going to go work for somebody for a while.
Can we talk about some of the failures?
Sure.
So what are some of the businesses that you had that you tried?
So I have before the 2004 hurricanes, Gene and Francis, I was getting into the citrus business, doing gift fruit and catalog sales and online sales was the plan. And I set up a business. It got bonded by the state and did everything. And I was probably 80% through with it. And website was done, ready to launch. And I didn't think anything about the hurricane because I wasn't thinking, hey, this hurricane's going to wipe out the citrus industry. So that business failed before I even had a chance.
Did you have a lot of money invested in that, or more work than money?
A lot more work than money.
Yeah.
But
that's got to be disheartening. Like if you're 80% there and you feel like, all right,
yeah, you're working a full-time job, and now you're
Yeah.
going to be working another one for yourself after hours. So
yeah,
it's, I remember watching the storms go across. I was in Georgia at a friend's house and typing up the inventory list for establishing all the SKU numbers for all the products and stuff, and then driving back and go, dang it.
That sucks.
Yeah, that one's done. Off to the next one.
Okay.
So
So what'd you move on to next?
All right. So before we do that, though, what'd you learn from that experience?
Anything can happen and changes. You got to learn to change with it. So I changed and, constantly changing to something that works.
So did it make you think about scalability?
You learn early on, capital is real important, you need to have, you got to have some money behind it, and you can only will it so far. And then you got to have some luck and some capital and make a couple key decisions to get through it. And had the intentions, just those certain doors didn't open,
Would you have done? Would you have done anything different with it, or?
So like, let's say I want to just start a gift, or citrus.
Well,
business.
you not a good business right now to be in citrus.
Okay,
just gift fruit now. Everything's being imported, and all the big players in town like Hale Groves and all them, they're
out.
You can just drive by and see that they're out.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, that's a lot to do with the land around here, though, too, right? They've given up so much of the Grove land to housing development.
Things like canker and all that too, though, right?
Yeah,
but wasn't that kind of like the domino effect of some of the citrus that did get wiped out? Then it started the process of like, now we could just sell it off before we lose too much to the developments and stuff.
In essence, a lot of the packing houses received a lot of damages, and who knows? I mean, those executives like the Graves brothers and those guys, they're smart people. So maybe it was a good time to pull out.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have had to go through and replant and
it may just not be worth it.
And
like a
property values were extremely high at that point. I mean, they were higher than probably what they are right now.
So there's, and then I believe the government came in and helped out too, and paid them for citrus. They subsidized their their stuff. So they're getting paid for citrus. They didn't even have to pick. So I'm sure there were some business decisions there.
Yeah.
All right. So sorry. Yeah. What'd you move on to after that?
I'm not sure exactly where in front or behind, but I had a business called Florida Expressions. And a lot of this was just more of learning capital and finances, and learning that you can only go so far, and then you gotta present, really push it. And that one failed because just didn't know enough. So I had a lot of just learn as you go experiences.
And what did that one do?
So that one was art sales. So art supplies, artwork, prints. So
were we trying to do it online?
Yeah, online.
Okay.
So my father does art sales. He's an artist, so it was kind of a natural thing. Thinking, okay, maybe I can do something similar and piggyback off of his career, and then do something. But that's try to compete with Michaels and all those
Amazon
and stuff.
That's hard.
Yeah, you learn and go, okay, well, you establish the business, you do the business plan, and you're trying to do things as you're doing it. I'm more of a kind of an action kind of guy. Like, I want to just get in and learn instead of just plan it out. So maybe I went a little too far with these things, and then said, time to quit and try to something else. Yeah,
but there's some wisdom in that, knowing that, when to cut it off and go to the next thing. I feel like, because I feel like a lot of people just hang on to something until it's completely dead or beyond dead.
And you're so far in debt or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, you got to, when do you stick and when do you dip? And it's an art in itself to know when that's a good time to do that. Yeah,
and the upside to that too, right, is that you know who you are. You're an action guy. Mm-hmm. You know that you want to go, right, and do that. All right, so after the art sales, what happened after that?
I had a Ogilvie Construction. And so this is my second construction company, Work Services is. And that one went on for about a year and a half. And that one failed due to being able to collect for services rendered. So, you finally get to the point now you're earning money, and then people don't want to pay you for for whatever reasons. And then
what kind of, was that the same type of business, or was it just construction?
It was just construction, yeah. So remodel work, home repair work.
Okay.
Similar to what
so it was
I'm doing
customers
now.
that didn't pay, or?
Yeah, so it was a variety of things. It could be customers that didn't pay. It could be subcontractors that didn't perform. Some contractors, you're learning.
Or could it be also, was it around the time of the recession?
It was right around that time. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, because I actually started a business around that time as well, where I was trying to do an online classifieds, but just for homes.
Mm-hmm.
And
He was pre-Zillow.
yeah, but it didn't work out.
He was Zillow before Zillow was.
And basically,
Zillow.
like as I went with it, like that's when the recession started hitting,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay,
He dipped.
I
He
did
should have
dip.
stuck.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
We could have Zillow money. I'm just putting myself in there.
Yeah. No, trust me, it was a good
Get on
time
that
to cut.
Bonita app. I see that
Yeah.
through too.
Yeah, exactly. So now you're done with that construction company, and what were your lessons learned from that made you say, oh, I should just pivot?
You have to have some skills in what you're trying to do too. And I took that moment. I said, I need to go back and work for somebody for a while and really hone in on my knowledge and skills of this, and then figure out another time to go at it again.
So did
And
you
that's
find a
not-
mentor?
No. I went to work for a construction company that I had an opportunity to work for a lot of the big builders in town because I have a degree in construction, and all my studies is all in construction.
Do you have your GC?
Yeah, I'm GC. I have
Okay.
actually 7 state licenses.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but so I went to work for a company called Tomac of Florida, and whenever you can have an opportunity to go work for somebody directly with the owners,
Mm-hmm.
and be their second in command behind them, you get exposed to all those decisions and stuff. And I could have wanted to work for bigger companies like Hill Group or Kroom, and I was interviewed by all of them, and they all wanted me to go work for them. But I went the route of, hey, I'm going to work side by side with these two owners. It's not as much money, but from the long run, I was like, this is a world of experience.
Yeah. Now, were they builders or were they just remodel guys?
These were construction management firm. So we specialized in commercial construction and mid to high rise condominiums. So and I was right after college, I was building anywhere from a 4-story to 12-story condo here locally.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, we always say, like, if you're just chasing the money, that's very short-sighted.
yeah. I mean, when you have the experience in, you've already done the learning, and you think you've reached, then go for it. But if you start overselling yourself to an employer, you're not going to stay there very long. Yeah.
Well, not only that, right? But there's a lot of wisdom in what you just said, as far as like you went with a smaller company because you could learn more,
right?
Versus going to a bigger company where there's layers, there's red tape. You may not get to see all of the ins and outs, decisions, etc.
Yeah, it was a good experience. One of the owners passed away, and I still am in touch with the other owner. He retired up in Georgia, and we still talk probably once or twice a year. So, and I worked for him for like 11, 12 years. So, and we did hundreds of millions of dollars worth of construction work.
Yeah,
and we did right after Gene and Francis and stuff. I remember we're doing like $40 million a year in construction. So it was it was a lot. And then when the construction fell out, the economy went. So we changed, and we went to large loss disaster and traveled the nation doing disaster cleanup.
So is that what kind of pivoted into where you're at now?
Yeah.
then?
So
That
that's
must
kind
be
of where it went from. The owners were very successful of leveraging their position and finances to get the big projects, and waiting for those big hurricanes, those fires and earthquakes and the big stuff, while the daily day-to-day work was going on that they didn't really want to worry about because they're big picture stuff, kind of big picture guys. And so we were sitting around the warehouse, cleaning equipment, preparing, negotiating contracts for diesel fuel to mobilize across the country. I was like, hey, let's do some day-to-day work. And so we started playing around with some day-to-day claim work, and and they got to the point where they're ready to retire. So I was like, all right.
Just kind of worked out then.
Yeah.
For you were.
Yeah, they were
ready
they
to
were
part
kind
ways.
of phasing out and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So, it was not quite a mutual disconnect, but I went my way and they went their way.
Okay.
But they were still great.
So
people.
you said they did stuff all over the country. Do you think that had a lot to do with like their networking capabilities and?
Well, when there's a disaster,
Yeah.
you don't need too much of a network to get work.
Yeah, but I maybe, and you'd probably know more about this than me, but I do know several guys that have been where there are disasters, whether it's, oil cleanups or earthquakes or hurricanes. And especially when it comes to like FEMA money, I found that the guys a lot of times actually doing the work are sub by a sub, and somebody at the top's making money.
Yeah, there's a lot of initial contracts.
That fourth or fifth down sub is, making pennies on the dollar, and they're the one actually putting in the work. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I know those guys, and I don't know the guys at the top. That's what I'm saying.
You need to know Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, each county has it goes out for bid every year. So if you want to be the disaster response company for the county, you can bid on it.
Okay.
So there's a lot of companies that specialize in just bidding on it, and what they'll do is they'll commingle like the debris removal with the disaster cleanup of the buildings, when you shouldn't be letting the debris removal company that drives the front end loaders taking care of the inside of your structures, but they combine those together.
Yeah.
And so if you want the buildings, you got to work for the site contractor.
Okay. I gotcha.
And then that's why it gets sliced up so much, because they don't know what they're really doing. They're just thinking, oh, we want to do the hauling of all the debris off the roads. We want to take care of all the white goods and stuff. And that's kind of what they do.
So the company that you did work for, were they putting those bids in, or were they buying the contracts from somebody that had the bids in?
Yeah. So a lot of it is local connections. So what we would do in advance of the storm landing, we would broadcast out sales agreements with local salespeople and offer them percentages of the deal and say, hey, there's a disaster. If you could represent us as your salesperson and sign up to this job, we'll come in with our crew.
Okay.
And we had a jet ski rental guy sell us the Galveston Island School District for 3%, and that was a huge contract. He made $500,000.
Whoa. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many facets of like that can like disaster cleanup. Though it's just like, like you said, a jet ski rental guy is making $500,000. Like,
or he just made it off of that one sale.
One sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was a go-getter, that guy.
Sure.
I remember I'm working here in Vero, and we got a phone call, and the guy's like, look, I need a helicopter. I could sell the school board if I had a helicopter. And so the owner swiped $30,000 for a helicopter to do an aerial survey for all the school board of Galveston Island. That's what landed the deal.
wow.
So he was a jet ski guy, but
Yeah, I mean, not to talk down on that guy at all. I'm sure. Right?
Yeah.
He obviously got the contract, so I mean, however he got it done, he got it done.
He made more in that one sale than a lot of people make in a lifetime.
yeah, and the owner was he had the finances to take the risk and say, well, $30,000 for however millions of dollars they made off of that.
Wow,
That's pretty crazy.
And that was the company you worked for before this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, do you remember your first sale?
Oh, my first sale with Orc Services. Yeah, I had this nice little lady. Couldn't find any work, so I remember working for her for $10 an hour, better than staying at home doing nothing. And I was like, well, I'm gonna go fertilize some yards and fix some irrigation, paint a driveway, whatever it took, because I had nothing else to do. So might as well do something.
Might as well make some money.
Yeah, she was sweet. She was like, "Oh, you're gonna be really successful because you can lay that mulch so much better than all the other handymen that's been out here." And I'm like, "Well, I'm just bored. I need to do something."
Yeah, I really don't do this for a living.
Yeah, you know.
How many years has Orc been going now?
We're going to be 10 years here in September.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Nice.
You throwing a big bash?
You know, we do those charities for our anniversary. So we're going to be doing 10 charities for 10 years in business is our plan.
Okay.
So we learn to just give back to the community when it comes to that stuff. You know, just kind of like, hey, I'm this in my success. I want to give back. So that's kind of how it goes.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I did talk about this, I guess, or I mentioned it before we started recording. Is it all roses and rainbows, or?
Oh, owning your business.
Yes. Owning your business.
Very, very rewarding. But it can be very difficult, a lot of stress and very challenging. You know, when things start to go wrong and you start putting on your big boy pants and knowing, hey, I'm going to have to work 15 hours a day or even around the clock sometimes and to fix this. Because you want that 5-star review from your customer, and what happens in your business and your personal life has nothing to do with your customer's outcome.
Yeah.
So,
And it's not an if things are going to go wrong, it's a win probably.
Right,
So you almost know what's happening, so you could always be ready.
yeah, I mean, that's a big saying for disasters. Yeah, it's not a matter of if, but when. Are you prepared for your disaster, right? So with business, it's you got to be as much as you plan. Boy, I mean, you have to fire somebody that's not doing what they're supposed to do, or you got that really difficult customer that's maybe not paying you, or you get a bunch of difficult customers at one time, and you have employee issues, and throw a couple personal issues in the mix, and sometimes you feel like you want to throw the towel in, but that's just a little bit of the pain for a big reward. So
What's been like one of the worst ones you've walked into as far as a job where you're like, oh man?
Yeah, I've had some pretty upset tenants that decided to take it out on the property owners and vandalize the property to like no end. Where they like spray paint walls and flood the house and just catch it on fire and just pour concrete down the drains and you name it. Oh yeah.
So
were they 18? Like
no, they're just
you know what I mean? Like
that's some spiteful people.
And there's some bad ones out there.
So I have a couple of questions actually. How many employees do you have?
Right now, I think we have 15.
15.
Yeah.
Anybody been with you long term, like towards the start, or?
Yeah, we have a couple guys. About 6-7 years would probably be the longest.
That's a long time.
That's pretty good, yeah.
For a company that's 10 years in, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, it says construction services too. So you guys do the cleanup and like, would you replace drywall and stuff like that, or
so
you just do the cleanup, or?
Yeah, so we kind of a turnkey model. Where there's not too many disaster restoration companies that can do start to finish, meaning, come to your home and suck up the water, dry your structure, and then put it back together from all the damages from the water or the mold or the fire or the trauma.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds definitely different because I told you before this, I had in our old house, I had a company come in, but it was they just did the water and dried it out, and they tore up some of the wood floor, whatever was buckling. Yeah. And then, but then the rest was up to me beyond that. But you guys do it start to finish then?
Yeah, start to finish. So we would tell the customer, hey, hire us as your contractor. We work with you and your insurance company to get this to get these repairs done, and we start estimating and just kind of work it out with both of them.
I know as a customer, I'd probably appreciate having to go to one company and doing that, and then possibly 2 other subcontractors.
Well, yeah, it's a pain. I mean,
so that's nice.
For me, I get a drywall guy coming in, then I get a finish guy coming in, then I got a wood guy coming in. So I
the
think
one-stop shop would be nice.
I mean, and then the restoration company. I think it was, probably 5 people deep. And just getting quotes from 5 different people, and then you might get 2 or 3 companies, or 2 or 3 quotes for each job. And then by the time you do that, you got a week wrapped up in time.
If you get enough money.
Oh yeah. That's even beyond that, you know?
Yeah. So that's a part of it too. It's like, hey, we'll come in and we work with the homeowner and we estimate the jobs for the amount that the repairs are supposed to be. And then if there's any discrepancies between the insurance company and our estimates, we'll supply backup or supporting documentation to say, this is why 1 coat of paint won't work. Yeah. Or this is why standard grade flooring for $4 a square foot in the estimate, your estimate won't work. It's really $5.50, and we'll go over all those things. And it takes time.
Now, I feel like that would alleviate the need for like a private adjuster as well. Or do you have a private adjuster that works for you?
We don't really recommend any private adjusters. But there is a need for them. Same thing with attorneys. We don't usually recommend attorneys. I mean, a lot of our jobs are just trying to work it out with all material invested parties.
Yeah.
And it'll go as quick as the adjuster wants it to go. But if the carrier or insurance adjuster is not willing to pay for a fair repair or understand the scope of the repairs, then that's where the problems start coming in.
Yeah, I can see where that would be frustrating. Well, it's obviously frustrating for the homeowner because their house is tore up. Mm-hmm. Frustrating for you because you can't get paid till the insurance company wants to pay.
Yep.
And then,
we still get started to a degree. So, like, say your house floods and. Say if it's not a big flood, maybe just a normal small leak in the kitchen. It went on for a while unnoticed, and you have mold damages. So we know that there's certain limitations of everybody's policies. So we'll take the risk with the customer and say, well, we think this claim's probably going to be approved, but we don't know until the check shows up in essence for you 100% know it's approved. But we'll go ahead and get started on the water and mold. As long as we stay within your limits of your cap, then we're willing to take the risk with you. But we're not going to proceed any further in the repairs without a 50% deposit at that point.
Yeah.
So at least you're not dealing with wet walls or mold in your house. And then and it's based on the customer too. If the customer's comfortable with that, and we are, it's just, if there's a red flag saying, oh man, this claim might be denied because there's neglect on the homeowner by leaving their faucet run for a month or something.
Yeah.
That might be a question.
Might be a problem.
Yeah.
So where did the name Orc come from?
So, Orc, I was thinking about naming the business originally Orca Restoration. And my wife was like, why don't you just call it Orc? And I'm like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a good name at the time. And then I was like, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to call it ORC, I thought. But let me look it up to see if it's a real word. And I'm like, it means mystical monster. I'm like, all right, well, that's how the logo came about because it means mystical monster.
Okay.
And I'm a Florida Gators fan, so I like the Gator colors and Miami Dolphins, Florida guy.
Yeah.
And even though I don't really watch football that much, but that's kind of where I went with it.
That's most Miami fans.
Yeah. So then,
I'm sorry, Miami fans. I'm just
like,
joking.
Hey, Brady's coming to town. Let's go watch him slaughter us. This will be fun. But
it's good for everyone.
I feel like that's most Florida team fans. I think at this point with football in regards.
Right.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then so my, I remember getting my trifolds together and get the logos made and doing all that stuff. And then my first solicitation to get some business, I walked in Remax Real Estate's office in Sebastian. I handed my pretty proud moment. I hand over my trifold and like, hey, I'm Orc Services. Well, I didn't say Orc Services. I said ORC Services. And the lady goes, Orc. Orc like dork. And I'm like, oh my goodness, man, I'm invested in this. So
the first handover, and you get the.
So I was ORC awesome. For a little while until I got it, and then said, I'm just going to be Orc, and so that's what we are.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, to me, if you said ORC, I would think like, what does it stand for?
Right. So a little bit deeper into that. So my last name is Ogilvie, right? So and then we do restoration and construction. So so there's some other meaning to it, but we stick with Orc.
I'm not going to try and pronounce your last name.
Yeah, we get asked that a lot.
Ogilvie.
Ogilvie, Restoration and Construction.
Yeah. So whenever a customer will say, "Hey, so what does that mean?" I was like, "Well, it means awesome."
Yeah.
And they're like, "What?"
Yeah. Look it up.
Yeah, look it up. That's how you spell awesome, guys.
Yeah.
Or
Under the Google reviews.
Yes.
yeah. So you mentioned charities, right? So you mentioned that you're doing 10 this year. This is your 10th year. So last year, did you do 9?
Yeah, last
the year
year
before that, you did 8.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So we started it. First time I did it was 8 charities for 8 years.
Okay.
And I wanted to do something different than a little party at the office and get everybody together for the moment. I was like, well, let's just, let's do something for the community. And, it's good PR for us for sure. People really, really enjoy seeing companies donate back to the community. And I figured I'll do it social media style and just have Facebook people vote for it and see where it goes.
Oh, okay. So on social media, you actually let people vote as far as like what charities?
Yeah. Yeah. So the first time I did it, I opened it up twice. I said, okay. I did like a soft little post saying like, hey, I'm thinking about donating to a bunch of charities. What charities do you guys like? And then they posted some, and then I took and counted up how many of those were, and then I produced a list, and I said, okay, vote for which charities you want to win, not really saying what we're going to win. I had like 30,000 views on that video. It was a good amount of views. I'm like, all right, well, and then I was like, okay, I need to give away some money on this, and how much money to give away, because I didn't want to come off like this guy just got 30,000 views. He's going to be totally cheap on his donation.
Right.
Yeah. Here's $5. So we did it. I think we did $100 increments, and you give it $100, $200. It adds up.
Of course.
And then,
absolutely.
And then I was like, well, that was pretty cool. So I did 12 charities for 12 days of Christmas, like right after that. Well, yeah, right after that I did that, and then it was about a couple days before starting the charity thing for Christmas, and I opened it up to other business owners. I said, hey, does anybody want to co-donate with me? I'll come out and I'll shoot a video with you. We'll combine our networks and see what we can do. And I had 6 different business owners say they would co-donate with me for the 12 days of Christmas campaign.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so we were, of those 6, and I think we gave away like close to $7,000 for the 12 days of Christmas.
That's pretty awesome.
It was kind of neat.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh wow, I can network with other business owners, because I was like, wow, business owners don't have time. They're busy running their business, and they're
just worried about.
They want to make a donation. They do, and they want to be an impactful donation. They want to see a kind of return of something on their donation. I know for myself, I've donated a lot over the years, but no one really knows, and never got any kind of return on that. You barely get a thank you, from these charities.
Yeah.
So we were able to kind of align ourselves with other charities that use social media and do some good things and bring awareness for our company and bring awareness for the charities. There's a ton of charities out there, but every year we do this, there's new charities I'm being made aware of and the good things that they're doing. And it's not all United Way and all those big players. Yeah. There's mom and pop trying to not getting a single penny, doing it all of their own hearts.
Yeah. That are really impacting people's lives. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Which is pretty awesome. Were you gonna ask something?
No, we can.
So, it sounds like you've always been an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's it's been in my blood, I think.
So your dad was an entrepreneur?
Yeah, my dad and my grandfather.
I know you said he was an artist, but I didn't know if that meant, was he like a full-time artist?
Yeah, he was a full-time artist. He retired and became a full-time artist, but he worked for the county for a while doing wastewater facility management, but he worked around the clock. So he was 40 hours plus.
You said he did art sales though too, right?
Yeah, he painted his own, or he did his own artwork, and he sold it doing the art shows locally. He would do that. And then but they've had other businesses before. He used to sell birds at flea markets. He would sell fish. We had a fish farm at one time. We had ponds we lived in Loxahatchee, and we had little individual ponds on our 2-acre parcel we had, and we had ponds, and we grew koi and stuff. So they always had something they were trying to do on top of.
Okay.
I can appreciate that.
That's a hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did a lot of that. And then my grandfather actually mined for gold. He was a gold miner, failed, but that's what he did.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. I mean, but if it made him happy.
My grandfather died when I was 10, so I didn't really get to really know him. I just remember, he cut his thumb off cutting wood for, back then you had the fireplaces to warm your houses, so that's about all I remember.
My grandpa lost a finger doing that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. How long have you been in Indian River County?
I'm glad you didn't finish your thought there, Corey.
Yeah. Sometimes my interval is inappropriate.
So I've been here since 85.
Okay.
Parents moved here for the fishing. So my dad was a commercial fisherman too. So
My grandfather was a
and he got out of the commercial fishing because the gill netting was banned back in the early 90s, and he did gill netting, and that's what led him to go get a county job.
What's gill netting?
So it's a long net that comes out the back of the boat, and as they're dropping this really long net that maybe that's like 3-4 feet tall, real long, and then they drive the boat around the school of fish, and then the fish will actually get their gills stuck in the netting, and they pull them into the boat. Yeah. Right now it's still legal. You have to go 3 miles offshore to do it. So a lot of the local fishermen stopped because they couldn't catch enough fish.
Yeah, there's a lot more water 3 miles offshore.
Yeah.
than right here in the river.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit before. You've been to Tony Robinson's.
Yeah.
Robbins.
Robinson?
Robbins.
Like
Robinson's.
Yeah. So
Robbins.
So obviously you're a fan of reinvesting in yourself,
Don't laugh, Jeremy.
yeah. Personal development is pretty important.
right? So you did the Tony Robbins, and it's like a 3-day, or is it a week long?
This one was 5 days. 5 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Maybe I signed up for the Tony Robinson's. That's why it was only $20.
Yeah. If we would have done the other one, we might be better off.
So you signed up. It's expensive. We don't have. We just can say that it's very expensive.
Yeah, it's up there.
Was it worth it to you?
I think it was.
Yeah.
I still do things the way I think about things from that conference. He has a way to really change your mindset.
Now, did you get like all jacked up? Like, were you like,
Yeah, I went full out.
I'm gonna rule the world. Get the hell out of the way.
Yeah, I went in with a mindset that I was going to go full out and just accept whatever it is and just go with it, whatever.
See, like I feel like you have to have that mindset, otherwise you're gonna lose it, right? Like you're gonna miss out on the message, because after you get home, 2 weeks later, like a lot of your old habits come back out, right? At least that's the way I look at it. I haven't done it.
If you go in fully open-minded compared to maybe a little skeptical.
But you still come back with learning
you
a
can
lot.
come back either way, but you're not gonna get as much out of it, like you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's my thought.
When I came back, I was like, I'm not going to implement all of this right off the bat. I was worried about my team that worked for me. I was worried about them handling it. I mean, I was definitely energized, and I was ready to increase my business by $1 million. And so I kind of rolled things out slowly. And I'm still rolling them out. Part of his program, he makes you write a handwritten letter that he'll mail back to you in like 6 months.
Okay.
And you get this. So that you like, what do you want to tell yourself in 6 months?
So, can I ask you what did you want to tell yourself in 6 months? And if it's too personal, it's okay.
No, it was okay. So mine was more of a message about to tell me to get back on track message. So mine, there was some strong language in there because it's like you're talking to yourself, like you've fallen and it's time for you to get back up on track. So I mean, what do you want that person to tell you? For me, I choose to be a little bit more stronger language to myself, and it was kind of cool to get that letter and see the handwriting and remember what took place that week. It's Yeah, here I'm talking about it. Right?
Yeah. Would you do it again?
Yeah, they have Business Mastery 2. There's two levels of it. You have to do Business Mastery, the first one first before you'll get access to the second one. I'd probably do the first one again. There's guys in there that did it 2-3 times.
So day one, right? You go in. What's it like? Like, can you walk us through like a day? Like, what do you do?
The first day, you're nervous and you're walking in because you have no clue what's about to happen, and you get in and they have a couple vendors in the lobby when you come in, but there's a ton of people. There's 2,300 people there, and it was the West Palm Beach conference building.
Yep.
And it was a packed. There wasn't a empty seat in the house, and
which is crazy, right?
Yeah, you sit down and a lot of like-minded people are in this room, and entrepreneurship is kind of a lonely lane, and because you're people that work for you, and you're so caught up in your own business and your family, that's all you have time for. So you don't really have a whole lot of friends, if you're coworkers and stuff, but then you have your family,
right?
So going in that atmosphere, you're like, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Not only that, but the energy's got to be crazy.
So the energy just kept building. He was able to like start off kind of light with you, and then, man, by like day 4, you're just consumed with it. And it's like you have to go take a bathroom break. You're probably not walking. You probably want to run because you don't want to miss a minute of it because everything is so engaging. You don't want to miss a second.
It's like at the movies, but this is like a 5-day version. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to go to the bathroom in the movies. But
yeah. You don't take any lunch breaks. They feed you there, and then it's like they do these like mini like rave party breaks in between to get you up and going. And it's like a concert of business. It's a business entrepreneurs concert.
Are you tired at the end of the day? Like just exhausted from like the raving?
No, so you get in like 8 o'clock, man. And
usually when Larry goes out to the rave, he's like exhausted by then.
I'm exhausted with my raves.
Yeah, they give you like quinoa wraps, just there, and they feed you and stuff, but you're not leaving the building until like 11 o'clock at night. So 8 to 11 with literally one break to get some dinner. Yeah. And they keep you, and you're just glued. You're up in your seat, you're screaming their chants and everything else. And it's one guest speaker after the other that's very inspirational. So it was definitely worth the money.
How was the networking?
So there's a huge opportunity for networking. He'll preach proximity is power. Is his thing. And so he has different levels of, way he positions everybody in the seating, and the closer you are to the stage is, obviously you paid a lot more money, but you're in a different caliber of clientele for him. So, and I was able to make about 8 friends because he puts you in groups, and in the midst of this conference, he wants you to develop a nonprofit to figure out how to, do something better for the world, in essence. So. And I know we created a group called the Grateful 8, and we wanted to raise money to donate to for a lady who was actually there so she can still pursue her dream of helping disabled children. But there's 2,300 people, and everybody divided into 8. There was a lot of stuff going on. So if you weren't focused on the event, you're working on your project.
Okay.
Kept you busy. Something I want to make point that I heard you say that I thought was pretty powerful when you said you had all these ideas that you brought back, and you could easily just try to throw them all in at once, but you thought about your employees. I think that speaks something because a lot of times people don't think that way, and they're just like, we're doing this, and this, and all of a sudden your entire
I think everybody's had a boss before that comes back with a knee-jerk reaction that might, and not to say that those ideas weren't great, but they've heard one thing, they watch a video on the internet, and next thing you know, you're like, holy crap, what's going on? But next month it's going to be something else.
Yeah, so to think about like tiers of rolling it out at different levels and things, I think that benefits not only your employees, but I think really probably benefits the company as a whole.
Yeah,
because you can't do it all at once.
Well,
so to have that
Yeah.
rollout process and think of it like strategically is pretty cool.
even if you did though, right? Like let's say that you're like, I'm doing it, and something goes wrong. How do you unpack what went wrong?
Yeah, you don't know the variable in that regard. There's too many things, maybe.
You know, when things start going wrong in your business because you implemented a wrong procedure, you know, everybody has beliefs, and you want everybody's beliefs to line up with yours that work for you. And if they believe that you're not leading the company the way they want, typically it ends with somebody leaving or somebody getting fired. So you have to be real careful on how you steer your ship. So, I mean, Tony's stuff was, you know, how to build a, you know, business plan, how to take it to the next level, how to, you know, change who you are. He's a real psychological guy. He's like, you got to make a hard decision. And in this conference, he's like, change who you are. If you have a difficult time firing somebody, give yourself a new name. Who is that person?
Okay.
Who is that person that makes those hard decisions?
Sasha Fierce.
Hey, maybe that's the person.
That is
How
not
far into orc were you when you went to the conference?
I would say 7 years, maybe something like about 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you were working for that company, going back to your learning phase, I realized that you were learning stuff, so you're probably kind of excited. But by the same token, how hard was it to go work for someone?
It wasn't that hard.
It wasn't that bad.
I was young, you know. I think the older I get, the harder that decision would be made. I mean, if I lost everything tomorrow, man, that'd be really tough to go work for somebody, you know, because knowing the success behind it. But making that change wasn't too bad because I knew I had a lot to learn, you know. So
yeah, and I talked with I think it was Eric Flowers, and we're talking. We're like, yeah, Adam's such a unique guy. He's like, he's a good entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. He'll find ways to do, you know, to find ways to not necessarily make money, but you know, how can you advance your business? What is one of those things that when you started, you were just doing one service, but now you're doing other services? Yeah.
So when I started the business, I had the goal of the water, the mold, the fire, and the reconstruction, but I didn't I didn't have the networking or the connections or the advertising or the roots in the community to support it. But I one of my other licenses, I was a licensed home inspector. So to go and solicit to go inspect properties was a pretty easy thing for me to do. So I knew I can go inspect 1 or 2 houses a week at $300 to $500 a piece. And as I work on the bigger picture of the business. So, and I did handyman repairs too. So whatever it took, you know, I'm like, hey, I gotta just focus on getting the business going, make enough money to make ends meet, and long term. I mean, I didn't pay myself for the first 3 years. So other than pay the mortgage, pay the power bill, and that was it. So it took a while to build enough capital to bankroll each project. So when I tell a customer and I can look them in the eye and go, hey, I'll float this entire project, you don't have to get a loan. You don't have to go max out your credit cards, and I'll get paid when you get paid. It's pretty strong, confident words. And we kind of built the business on, hey, you know, my word is oak in this situation. And then same thing with the employees. They know whatever they say is my word as well, and we need to maintain our reputation. So
yeah, absolutely. That's, you know, that comes down to, you know, putting your money where your mouth is, you know, right. For real. You know, whenever you're telling a customer like, hey, we're gonna have this, and then I'll get paid when you get paid. I mean, I'm sure it's stressful as a business owner because you're worried, you know, if it's a big project, you're worried whether you're actually going to get paid or not, and then, you know, because you still got to pay your employee to be out there. It's not even like it's just your time or something like that. You got somebody out there, and you got equipment out there, and you got supplies.
Well, you got the equipment, supplies, the employees, and then you have the insurance company that's maybe not paying for it, that you have to wait till they pay, or if they don't pay, and then there's attorneys you got to wait for. I mean, the biggest one I ever floated was like 600,000. And that was a big one. Might have almost took too much of a bite, but yeah.
Did it work out in the end?
Yeah, it worked out in the
That's
end.
all that matters. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
But that is rough because it's a big matzo ball just hanging out.
yeah, so that year when
I'm just thinking about rolling the dice at the craps table for $600,000. No,
yeah.
I'm not taking that bite.
Yeah, so that year was 2016. Yeah, 2016. So that's when we made the Inc. 5000 list. So we were noted as the 1,221st fastest growing
Inc. the magazine?
Yeah, Inc. magazine, Inc. 5000 though. I didn't make the Inc. 500 though. But the Inc. 5000.
Yeah, but 5,000's not a bad list to be on.
So that year, based on my category and then overall and whoever entered in, I finished 1,221st in the whole nation.
That's pretty
and
awesome.
I finished 7th in the state of Florida.
That's
that
awesome.
year. So the following year is when I went to Tony Robbins because I made a critical mistake and almost lost my business the following year. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Can you talk about that or no?
Yeah, I can talk about that. Yeah.
What happened?
So before, what it boils down is when you're in the insurance restoration business, a lot of people think, hey, I'm going to go work for the insurance company because it's a economy. What do you call it? It's a safe business. It's its economy's is
like a
in
blue chip
depression.
stock.
Everybody has a claim.
Yeah.
There's always going to be business and property damage, and so everybody thinks, hey, I'm going to go work for the insurance company, have consistent business, and so you can only qualify to get in those lists once you've cleared over $2 million. So to that point, I never cleared that benchmark. So now all these other doors are opening where I'm starting to have the credentials to get these opportunities. And I went all out. I mean, I was a preferred vendor for like USAA and Hartford and University of North America. And there was about 8 of them. And I almost lost my business by those guys. So they wind up cutting all my invoices, causing me to hire more overhead than I needed to support the jobs.
That makes sense, yeah.
So next, my normal customers that were non-preferred vendor were second because I was so busy catering to the insurance company, and they would just cut every bill. And the average invoice was cut 30-40% than what it should have been. So so the business went. I lost close to $1 million that year.
Whew. Yeah.
So almost nothing.
Yeah. So then Tony Robbins, I'm trying to figure out. So I'm reaching, looking for what am I going to do? And so, I usually dive into the books and the personal development stuff and it all boils down, anybody that does the personal development stuff, it's like, what's the question? How do I answer my new question?
Uh-huh.
And what's the best way? And I decided to bite the bullet and go to Tony Robbins and see what he had to say.
Or, listen to Full Grill of Life.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's just as good. Yeah. So what did you, so obviously when you left Tony Robbins, you learned something. What was your biggest takeaway then?
So the biggest takeaway is for me was to hold my line on my pricing, what I'm charging for the services that we're providing. And then how to multiply the referral business and advertising, how it all calculates into your income into business. So
that seems to be a standard, though, among successful small business, or not even necessarily small, but local business, is kind of that know your value and know what you're worth. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to compete with Amazon if you're better, and I say Amazon just as, as the big company, as the biggest company kind of deal, know your worth and know your quality, and don't go below that, because then what are you in business for at that point anyways?
Yeah. So, when the preferred vendors, they want you to be, the fastest, the most qualified, the most stable financially, just overall the best, right? So if you're trying to find somebody who's the best, you're not expecting them to be the cheapest.
No,
right?
You shouldn't.
So, and that's what the insurance companies want. They want you to be the cheapest. So there's a lot of people that would go, well, they're giving me a flow of work, I don't have to advertise, so I chop the advertising budget off. I I don't need a sales marketing person because they're sending me all this work. But then when they decide, you did something wrong and they turn that faucet off, look, now you don't have the advertising out there. Now you're not getting the normal work. You put all your eggs in one basket. So when I came back from Tony Robbins, he's like, hey, first thing you need to do is fire somebody in your company that's causing you problems. So I fired all the insurance companies. Yeah. And then part of his promises, he's like, hey, I'm going to $1 million guarantee. You come to my conference, you're gonna increase your business by $1 million guaranteed.
How does he guarantee that?
I don't know. I made $1 million, so I didn't look him up.
Okay.
Maybe
Good
we
point.
should go.
We should.
Because if we upped it by $1 million, we'd make $1 million.
All right, there you go. Let's do it.
Yeah. Or
Actually,
I was gonna say 999.
No, I think we'd
Lot of
have to
nines.
make
A lot of
maybe
nines.
like $1,010,000.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tony.
Then we could up our business by $1 million.
And then we go another year. You should just go every year, and then you get to multiply.
Well,
It doesn't work that way. That's not part of the guarantee.
I made some decisions that saved a lot of money too in the process. So
Of course.
save money and make money, and then
That's all part of that whole. You have to have capital.
yes, you
Yeah.
have to have capital.
100%.
Yeah,
But you got to be willing to not, go get that capital or save that capital or, because even starting small, with a little bit of capital, I feel like people are like, I ain't got no money, but then they're at Starbucks every day. I'm guilty.
Right.
I'm guilty of this.
I borrowed $20,000 from my parents. That was my loan. So
Okay.
that's what I started off with, was 20. Yeah, and I think I made 19 my first year.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah, but that's part of the grind.
yeah,
Right. Like, there's a statistic out there where like people are so close to being successful, but they always stop. If you're running, if you compare it to like running a mile, the last 400 meters, you just decide to stop for whatever reason.
yeah, just keep going.
Just keep going.
Consistent. If you think it's a good plan, you're making the right decisions. You can do it.
So in regards to your marketing, what do you find is your best avenue?
So a large portion of the business is referrals. So, 10 years, going on 10 years of business. So a lot of the marketing is referral based, but in the beginning, you didn't have the referrals. No one knew who you were, and nothing like walking into your first customer and going, hey, I'm Adam. I can take care of all this. And okay, well, we've done this before. How long have you been in business? Well, you're my first customer, but you could trust me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah. So, it's a little hard. It's like,
I have a trustworthy face.
so it's like, yeah, I'll warranty this for 5 years. Well, how long have you been in business? I just started it last month.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's gotta be rough. So, as far as the restoration services, were you first to market in this area?
No, there was, at the time there still is, there's Service Master and Serve Pro are probably my top two competitors. They don't do exactly what I do because we do the construction.
Yep.
And they technically don't. But they have 40 years ahead of me. So.
Okay. And okay. But that speaks volumes, right? Because you're doing well in the community. You give back to the local community, which I think that part by itself is fantastic.
Yep.
And I'm assuming that came a lot from the Tony Robbins as well, right? Like it's almost like, and I find this very weird as well. The more you end up being, not necessarily like the more you give, it seems like the more you get back. Somehow that always works out.
Yeah, you got to do more for others than you do for yourself.
Yeah. Because it's even true of like, I'll see with a lot of online people who they sell courses, etc. It seems like the people that give away the most are the ones that get the most sales, is because they earn your trust.
Yeah, trust is huge, and I had the whole, slogan, restoration company you can trust, for the longest time on my website, but we've changed that because a lot of times when you tell somebody to trust you, it's an opposite effect, or even when you say, hey, let me be honest with you. Okay, when weren't you honest with me? You know?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So even though it's
It
very
definitely has an
sincere,
opposite.
I say it all the time though.
Yeah.
It's like it's such
What,
a bad
you could
habit.
trust me?
No. I say yeah.
Let me be honest with you.
Yeah. If I can
Yeah, I
be
get
honest
it.
with you, like the answer is always yeah. You can be honest with me. But I always, for whatever reason, it's like such a bad habit of
it is a bad habit.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to break that.
Yep.
But
That's a good point,
so just
because I probably say that a lot.
I
too.
say it all the time.
yeah, and some are my team too. Where the team I have, they all are real caring individuals, and you have to be in a disaster cleanup. It's just something that the type of people that want to apply and work here, and they have a tendency to say sorry too much. I'm like, why are you sorry? We're sympathetic, but but it's not our fault. But we have to help them take care of this situation, and it takes a while because everybody.
Well, it's that
sorry.
higher level of empathy they might have that kind of makes them say sorry. They don't mean that they did anything wrong, but it's that empathy piece that's.
And then
so they
sometimes
keep
the
saying it, but
customers
it's not,
will-
it's not always received that way.
Yeah, sometimes the customers will come back and like think, okay, then maybe Orc Services did something wrong, and it's really we didn't do anything wrong. It's just they're being very sympathetic. And to the point.
it's almost like you need that, like Chick-fil-A, like my pleasure, like something to tell them, but not sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
It's not that you're welcome, because then it's just not genuine enough. Almost at Chick-fil-A, they give you the my pleasure. But I don't know what you would say to them. Like. Because you're right, it's not their fault.
For me, I feel like you almost have to go on, be like, let them know how you're going to fix it, right? More so than sorry to hear that this happened to you. Be like, oh well, let's take care of you. X.
Yeah, Adam, listen to us, because for your business, this is where you want to get your advice from.
It's right here.
Me and Larry.
These guys.
I think it goes. I think with 10 years in the game, and you now have that, you have your reputation to kind of show that you can do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I think it speaks for itself at that point.
Yeah, a lot of them are return customers or friends of return customers.
What was so? What did you change your slogan to?
Let's do it right.
See, yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
there we go.
yeah. So I mean, this is construction. I mean, a lot of homeowners think that contractors are bad people. And they're car salesmen, attorneys, and somehow these contractors put a bad rap out there. So we just want to do it right. And if you want a company that'll do it by the book, I mean, that's us, and so we say, hey, let's do it right.
Yeah, no, and on that,
Well, yeah, definitely. So, Adam, you had several businesses, and this one's definitely been successful. We want to thank you that you've come on, but we want to ask one more question. Based on your experiences, what is a piece of advice that you could impart on our listeners that might benefit them?
Take action. Take action. You got a good idea. Ask the hard questions. Be intentional in your question, and then take action. Because if you wait too long, the opportunity will pass you, and you're gonna be the smart guy that had a great idea that did nothing.
Like Zillow.
Yeah.
I literally was thinking that. I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it. Yeah.
just
I'll
like
say it.
Zillow.
I'll say it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Adam, where can they find you?
So you can look us up on Facebook, or you can go to our website or Instagram. It's Orc Services. So it's orc-services.com. You can call our 1-888-880 MORC phone number.
Mork.
Yes. So our green guy's name is Mork.
Okay.
Mork the Orc.
Mork the
I like
Orc.
that.
I like
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Is that who answers when you call?
He's the green huggle monster that loves to help everybody.
Okay.
But yeah, just look us up on Facebook. A lot of customers find us through Facebook. So
Awesome. Any Instagram, Twitter?
Instagram, not so much Twitter. Twitter feels like more political stuff on there.
Okay.
But Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, we appreciate you listening. As always, if you've got any questions, comments, or concerns, you can find us or you can email us at fullgorillalife@gmail.com.
If you want to see what's happening on our social media accounts, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Full Gorilla Life, and on Twitter at Gorilla Full.
And please, if you want to visit our website, it is fullgorilla.life. And please hit subscribe on your podcast app of choice.
Later.
Right on.